you trust Ferguson Roof Systems to replace your roof, we go the extra mile to protect your home and property. On every job, we deploy durable netting to protect your home's exterior and landscaping. It's just one more reason why you should call Ferguson Roof Systems today.
Hey, happy Friday. I love it how if I'm coming on live, the first question is, are we expecting something? So I've got you trained. That's good. Usually if you see me coming live, it just means we have something big coming our way, right? So, hey, you're taking note. I like that. And the reason why I do that, honestly, is, look, most of the time, the weather's not that crazy from, one period to the next on a daily basis. So a lot of the times, you can use my weather app. It's free. It's AT's Weather to Go. You can get your temperatures for your backyard or wherever you're going for traveling anywhere across the country. Even some places international, so to give you your local weather there. So I usually spend the time and the energy and the focus on big changes that come our way, big storm systems, and then, of course, the dreaded T word for tornadoes, or the fun word like, winter storms. So that's usually kind of where I do a lot of my focus, because the daily kind of stuff is easy, and you don't need me for that. Although you do need me, just not necessarily for the easy stuff. But thanks for joining me regardless. I'm glad you're here. It's been a couple days here since you've seen me. So thanks for joining in here for lunchtime, for your break here for Friday. Hope you're ready for the weekend. I want to show you the weekend forecast is why we're here, but also to give you a sneak peek at what is coming our way toward the end of the month and the reason why that is. So please like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. Also, if you're on Facebook right now, I'm going to post this little link here you can sign into to get to opt in to get my weather updates. I posted a couple times on my blog and on Facebook itself that they have changed the setup. When you do follow a page, they've restricted you down all the way to the lowest ability of receiving notifications, meaning you will not see anything I post and you will not see when I go live. And that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. So you actually have to go in there to the settings under the follow button and change that to get notified when I do go live and when I do make a post. Because I don't post that often. Because I think the cap is like 5 posts per day. I would never post 5 posts a day unless it's like a tornado type event, right? And usually I'm live if that happens. But so yeah, I'm not going to flood your wall with stuff, but you do need to make sure those are enabled. You're never going to see them. And I hate Facebook for that. And I'm sure you do too. They should just leave things well enough alone, but it is what it is. So Chad Bradley says milk and bread time. Well, we're going to find out if it's milk and bread time, if it's Katie bar the doors, if it's kiss your butt goodbye, what's going to happen. Are we actually going to have a winter? All that kind of stuff. So we're about to get into all those details. Out there currently, man, it's nice. If you like it on the cool side, it's 46 degrees here in my backyard. We got lots of sunshine out there. Feels pleasant. If you like the little cool Christmas to the air, that's always good for me, because I hate when we go through a lot of winter and we don't actually get to experience a winter, right? It seems like such a downer. I mean, you got to have the yin with the yang. I don't want to have 100-degree temperatures in July in August and not have at least a few cold days here where you got to bundle up, get some hot chocolate, a hot fire, whatever it may be. So I'm glad to see some changes. Okay, so let's talk about those changes, right? Let me load this bad boy up. First things first, just to kind of show you, we're not looking for any severe weather around here anytime soon. This is the 8-day panel from the Storm Prediction Center. It does have a semblance of a little some activity here on Sunday night into Monday morning out here in eastern Oklahoma and western Arkansas for some elevated thunderstorms that may develop, and that's about it. So that's pretty weak. So pretty quiet in that department. However, it does not mean we're going to be storm quiet as far as upper level energy goes. So let's take a look at the jet stream pattern. This is the vorticity map that shows you where the spin is in the atmosphere, where all the storm systems, how they generate aloft, and we'll move you through time. First off, I'm going to show you here so you can understand the pattern recognition as we go through time. So remember, the jet stream kind of flows in between these lines. So they kind of go up and down and back around. And in between, on these big ridges, that's the up and down part, like this. That's your high pressure ridge. And then you get a low out here, and that's where you get all your inclement weather, is around this low in favorable area to the east of it. Whereas you don't get much in the way of weather at all underneath these big ridges. So you want these little troughs of low pressure to come through if you want clouds, a change, some storms or some rain or even some snow. All right, so we do have a little system that comes in here. This is the Sunday night, Monday morning. But it's kind of off to our north into Kansas. We get kind of a glancing blow. Like I said, it's not going to be a big deal for us. Here comes the next one, though, for Tuesday. And this is right here over dead center part of Oklahoma and into southern Kansas. So expect some big rainfall around here for Wednesday of next week. So that's some good news. We still need that rain desperately, even during the winter. Another one follows after that, although this right now looks pretty weak, but that's another little signal. Might squeeze out a little bit out of the atmosphere. And then we load up with a big one right here that comes across. This is on the 26th. That's Thursday. That's looking way down the crystal ball of the month. And then another one after that tries to set up back here off California toward the end of the month. So we do have what we call an active pattern setting up. And these little exact tracks will change off and on, and depend on how much cold air is around us, whether or not we just get pure rain out of it or some rain and snow. So let's see if we're getting anything out of that when it comes to these little systems. So here's the first one. So here's that rainfall across eastern Oklahoma and Kansas and up to Missouri and Arkansas. And again, that's for that Sunday night, Monday morning. That moves out. The next one that we mentioned after that, which will come in for Wednesday. So look at all that rainfall develop across Oklahoma on into Texas and Louisiana. And look at that, some heavy rain there for Arkansas. And that is for the day on Wednesday. Now you do see some blue on the map. That is wraparound snow across pretty much the entire state of Kansas, with a little bit of that light snowflake activity dipping into the northern counties of Oklahoma as we head into Wednesday evening. So that's our first little taste of some snow and this pattern change that may occur. And then after that, we have that next little mini system I mentioned a couple days later. So this is Friday night into Saturday morning on the 21st. So same idea, a little light rain across parts of Oklahoma, probably most of the north and east. A little wraparound snow for Kansas, a little taste into far northern Oklahoma, although there's a signal here for a little bit of snow in central Oklahoma on the 22nd. So don't worry, that's just a little teaser. We've got some better opportunities than that coming up. So here's a look around the 25th of the month. That little system's got quite a bit of rainfall with it. Doesn't really do much on the back end of as far as snow goes. And then we have this little guy here that comes around on the 26th. And there you go. You got some snow in the western half of the state on into the Texas Panhandle with some good heavy thunderstorms east. So that's more of like a nice little storm system. That's got some heavy snowfall, looks like moving through Oklahoma City as we head during the day on the 26th. So that's be Thursday of the month. And the high pressure builds in at the surface. That'll bring in some cold air, kind of dry us out temporarily. And then we'll see what happens to form west and southwest from there. So we do look. What we need is a big pattern change for that. So remember what I said earlier, we're talking about those ridges of high pressure. So I'm going to use the colors on the map again. So again, this is be the trough, ridge, etc. So this is why California is so wet, because they've got the trough axis just to their west, and that's generating all the rain for them. Here's another trough axis here. So remember, you want to be just to the east of the trough axis to get all the action. You don't want to be under ridge unless you just love quiet, boring weather. Now, but here's the kicker. When this pattern changes and we flip this, you're going to see the pole in the north open up for cold air, and that's going to move southward, and that's the big change for the month. So this is the ensemble mean. So we look for these to really see long term, to see how our pattern is going to change. So as we go throughout this weekend, you see that trough from the west coast coming inland across the Great Lakes, and it's starting to change things into middle of next week. So there's that system we mentioned here. And then another system follows after that, the little weaker one. But look what happens to the west coast. All of a sudden, we've changed that blue area, which is the trough, into a red area, which is a ridge. So now we're doing something like this. Big ridge here, broad troughiness here, etc. And what happens is this ridge pumps farther north into western Canada and across Alaska. It starts to tap into this polar region of colder air, which allows that then to come southward. So if you want cold weather and you want some changes around here, you want this ridge right out here, well off the coastline, so that we can get some monkey business going on here across the central part of the country. All right, so that starts to set up on the 22nd. Now look what happened. Boom, look at that trough dig across the desert southwest here on the 23rd. So again, that is a huge area of low pressure in this region, and little disturbances will rotate out of that. So that means action here, potential action for us. At the same time, this ridge is nudging up here into the polar region, which allows some of that cold air from Alaska, etc., Siberia, to come on down. So we get a little taste of the cold, and we get the upper level energy. So this is a good pattern for Oklahoma when we're talking about potential for some winter storms on the table. We got to get the setup right. If you can get the setup going, which looks like we'll have, and then it's just a combination of, is the cold air there in time? How deep is it? Is it deep enough for snow? Or is it going to be shallow enough just for freezing rain? What's it all going to be? Or is it going to be cold rain? It can be that as well. So that, at least we're getting the pattern set up. What happens after that is in the minutia, the devil's in the details, and we won't know those until we get obviously closer to each event. But as we go through the rest of this month, this pattern's locked in. All right, so it doesn't change. Get the polar vortex in this area, which backdoors into the trough in this area. Ridge stays pumped up here. So it is a cold pattern with this set up for the end of January into February. So expect some big changes. The miles may be a little slow to catch up on initially, but that's what will happen. Now, when you look underneath all that mess and we look at the actual air temperature. So these temperatures up here in Siberia, on the other side of the pole, they're cold. They have some readings up here in the minus 70s and minus 80s. That was record-breaking cold up there. So that's gross. Well, a lot of that, of course, will be diffused, and it'll move down south, and a lot of it will moderate. But the good news is, if you want cold air, there's still plenty to come behind that source region. And so as the pattern changes, and I animate this through time, you can see how some of this purple is going to start to kind of continue to migrate down through Canada into the northern U.S. And of course, the question is, of course, how far south does it go? And time will tell. But you can see here's some good purple nudging in now the northern plains as this colder air starts to spill from around here across the pole and into Canada. So we call it the cross-polar flow. And that's how we get our really good Arctic air mass outbreaks. So we'll continue through the rest of the month, and you can see that pattern's locked in. The cold air is just continue to expand in here and put more purple on the map all the way down. So it's a gradual building of cold air that just kind of keeps moving this direction, which always happens to work its way into Oklahoma. At least a little bit. Now, initially, I'm just going to zip to the very end of the forecast period. It's not all that shocking. This is, again, an average mean blend of the model data. And so, for example, on the 28th, the middle of the day, it has us in the 30s and 40s. It doesn't seem all that bad. I mean, it's cold, right? That's not brutally cold. It's not minus single digits or teens. Now, you don't have to go too far north to get those single digits in this region. And we're only talking a difference, of a few hundred miles. And we won't know exactly how far this cold air goes. It could easily be way down here by the time we get to that period. So it's something to watch, and that is what's in our future. Okay, so short term, back to the weekend. If you guys wanting to know, a few sprinkles will develop out across the Panhandle region on Sunday in the mid-afternoon, lunchtime, but that's about it. They're not going to amount to anything. It's just as return moisture comes in, we're going to have very strong south winds over the weekend. Here's some sprinkle activity down here in southeast Oklahoma for Sunday evening. Everywhere else in between, some clouds will come in on sunny, partly cloudy skies. Not a big deal. Most of the weekend actually will be pretty nice as far as the weather goes. It'll be windy, though. We are going to have some wind gusts up around 30 to 40 miles per hour here. So here's the day on Saturday. So a very windy afternoon. It may start off in the morning, not bad. Even today is not bad. But as the day goes on, you're going to see a lot of these more wind gusts coming in. There's 50 as we head into Saturday evening and overnight. Here's some up around close to 60. Now, a lot of that won't make its way to the ground because of some inversion layer in the morning hours overnight, but still going to be quite breezy overnight. And then on Sunday, same idea. It stays windy. Wind gusts up around 40, close to 50 miles per hour at times in the afternoon as that return flow begins. Now, temperature-wise, as a result, we're going to warm up, but not before kind of a cold result here for today. We're going to be in the 40s across central and northeastern Oklahoma, some 50s down across southwest. Into tonight we go, and by the time we're in the morning hours, we're looking at 20s and 30s again, so typical here for Oklahoma. And then we'll zip on into the afternoon hours. We are back into the 50s statewide. There will be some 60s out across the Panhandle and sprinkled into parts of western and southwestern Oklahoma. And then one more morning where it's kind of cool for you, back into the 30s and 40s across the state for Sunday morning. And as we head into the afternoon, again, we're warming things up a little bit more, mixing out the air, but still some 40s across the northeast. Otherwise, primarily 50s across the state. So not terrible. And that is a look at the NAM model, which always runs a little cooler. So there's a potential for a few degrees to be a little bit warmer. And so if you take a model blend where you look at some of the other models, we do warm up into the lower 60s here for Sunday, and that's definitely doable here for Oklahoma City, the way that pattern's shaping up. So again, not bad. It's a little breezy over the weekend. Temperatures-wise, look pretty good, though, for the early of next week. That bigger system on Wednesday, which will bring us a little taste of some snow. Looks like Wednesday night and Thursday here across far northern Oklahoma will drop us a little bit at night and during the day. And that secondary system on Friday night and a Saturday morning could bring us a few flakes of snow here in central Oklahoma. Otherwise, we will look further out into the extended, which is beyond this forecast period, which takes it to the 23rd and 24th, and to see the bottom really drop out and to see a better shot at some snow in our future. So there you go. That was a mouthful. That was a lot, but I wanted you to get up to date, right? See exactly what's going to happen and changing. So if you've wondered, where's winter? It's still here. Just, it's great because you got to have all seasons in your wardrobe, in your closet. You can't just put up all your summer clothes here in Oklahoma. It's nuts. By the way, you guys on YouTube, thanks for joining in and chiming in. Mary Jane's like, where are the doggies? Bring them. We want doggies. We don't want Aaron. So I hear you. They are cute. Very, very cute. So we get them all the time. So it's nice. We get puppy overload. Angela, by the way, thank you for the stars on Facebook. I appreciate you very much. Same thing with you, Ron. So as always, you guys, when you support me either way, from like the Facebook stars or the YouTube star, some call them stars, but they call them something. I forgot what it's called. But anytime you want to support me in any direction financially, I always appreciate that. But really, all I really ask you to do is to like and share the content with your friends and family, and download my weather app, AT's Weather to Go, because it's free. It gives you all the weather information you need. It's a shortcut for me if you need me. I think that's going to be about it that I want to talk about for today. I'm going to run, but hope you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. Have a great weekend, and we will talk with you again next week. Take care, everybody.